I always tell myself when I start a video, I'm like, this one is going to be shorter. I really feel like this one's going to be like under 10 minutes. That never happens. I just got done recording the video you watched earlier this week that closed out Unfound Origins, and that for sure is probably going to be 15 minutes. I thought it was going to be half that time. I'm going to try to go fast in this one. In this video, I'm going to show you what Dungeons and Dragons and the big hubbub of Dungeons and Dragons in the last couple of years, what Dungeons and Dragons has in common with Unfound Anamnesis, and you as a viewer and as a follower of the Unfound Anamnesis, and ultimately how you can create characters in our world, why we're doing what we're doing. But before I go into that, my name's Dillon. You're watching Unfound Anamnesis, a YouTube channel where we talk to you about, me and my partner Matt Emery talk to you about the creation, the behind the scenes of a self-published comic that we will be launching in the new year. Really do appreciate, again, the love and the support that we've got. Please, if you could, smash like, smash subscribe, leave a comment at the end of this video. I think you're really going to like the ideas that we're going to ask of you to leave for comments. That being said, let's jump into today's video. I'm going to do a quick recap on where we're at, the potential areas of conflict that we have at a high level in the cosmos, and also at the level of the world of Bastunia. So pay attention, bring your notes, and start asking yourself, man, what potential is here in the world of Bastunia and the cosmos of Unfound Anamnesis? Let me share my screen. So today's video, we talk about what D&D has in common with the world and the universe of Unfound Anamnesis. Let's do a quick history lesson now, super quick. We have the Great War going on at a cosmic level between lost and found planets. Now, on the side of the found, we have the Hierarchs, who are descendants from the original celestial beings named Mother and Father, who are supposed to create life for the primordial essence, this Godhead that has this conscious ability to want to continue to learn, but also has the ability to use itself to create matter and life within the cosmos. The Hierarchs communicate with it and create life. And on the side of the arcs, we also have Saginta beings, the frontline warriors, and then Sagia beings, the support system to heal Saginta beings and to sustain reality. And the newest addition to the army of the found are hybrids, beings and demigods that have the ability to defend, create, and heal, support, and sustain life. One of those being our main god of Bastunia, Buntu. Now, on the side of the lost, what we know of, we have the Azigra, dark entities made out of the darkness between stars, and Azigra Titans. Azigra Titans and the Azigra themselves, really, when you think of the found, we think of order. When we think of lost, we think of chaos. These Azigra want to rip reality wide open and plunge its beings into chaos, and to have those beings forget why they are even put on the world they're put on. And one of the low, so here comes some of the conflict, right? One of the low tier Azigra Titans, has waged war specifically on Buntu. So we have this conflict. Buntu, who has lost his footing in his battle, has really tasted loss for the first time in the Great War. He has retreated and thrown himself into Bastunia, thrown himself into a small seed, and really he's given up. He's chosen to forget who he is, the powers that he has, and he is awakened through Joan, our main character in Bastunia. So he's got a lot of conflict because is still after him. and Azigra will continue to attack Bastunia. So we have that conflict going on. How the hell is Buntu going to elevate himself back to God status and take him on to win his mini war in the great war there is, right? So at a cosmic scale, that's one of the biggest conflicts we're seeing. And one that we'll slowly start to understand is the cracks within the foundation of the high arcs. These high arcs were chosen to be able to communicate with essence, to be these more primordial gods, to give order to the world. It's a tall glass of water. Would that be the phrase? It's a tall order to be that Godhead, to be that symbol of perfection, right? And what we're going to start to see is they're not perfect, and what happens through their mistakes. So we have a lot of potential conflict within the main circle, the center circle of found planets and the high arcs. Now, that's at a big level. Now, if we go into Bastunia, we have a lot going on. Buntu has created this world, and really, originally, everyone lived in Main City. That was created in the time of order, which you learned from Matt. But as Buntu started to lose his grip in this great war, chaos ensued within Bastunia. And in the time of the crumble, we had factions split off, right? People leave Main City to really try to find their own way. And as time goes on, they may have left Main City for a very, philosophical, enlightening reason, but it's been a slippery slope to where they are now, right? So we have, I'll go builders first, who traveled up to Metropolia City. They compete in the all build. They left there the builders, the creators of Bastunia, but also a little high and mighty at times. Looking down at other society as not being as driven as them, right? So we see the good and the bad potential conflict that can happen with the builders. Then we have the explorers, right? The great philosophers and the great lesson teachers. They explore and they travel the world, but also a bit, as time goes on, a bit lazy, a bit nihilistic. Oh, what's the point? Sometimes a bit holier than thou, standing in the ground of their lessons that they can teach others, right? And then we have the defenders, the salt of the earth, people that travel down to no wasteland, originally to perfect their craft, to defend others within Bastunia. And they get so hardened down there that they really become resentful for their brothers and sisters, to not give them the credit that people give them, that should give them for defending them. So we're going to have potential internal turmoil within each of these tribes: defenders, builders, and explorers. What could it look like? We're going to want to hear from you. We also have in Bastunia, now that the separation is creating, we also have the ongoing attack from the outside forces of Azigra. How is Bastunia going to equip itself? How are the people of Bastunia going to equip themselves to ward these major beasts off? Then when we go a little bit deeper, we're going to see some of the main characters. James, who was the great hero of this society, destined to bring the god back, and has failed in that duty. He brings back the lonely seed that he finds at the top of the mountain to give to his daughter. And that seed turns out to be the Godhead himself. Well, James is going to have this internal battle between being the great hero no more and having to take that step into becoming a good teacher and a good leader of the next generation. He's not used to that. He's used to being the charismatic face of Bastunia, not this side character to help somebody else achieve what he felt he was destined to achieve. We have our main character of Joan, who grew up without a beast, without a calling, who really hates beastborns. Her dad being one of the main figures, showing her what can happen when you know your calling. You become holier than thou, right? Now, this young girl who hates Beastborns has been given the most powerful beast in all of Bastunia. How is she going to be able to wrestle with that responsibility along with this competitive edge and resistance towards those born with callings? We have our comic relief side character of Artie, who's born without a beast and feels that he was born to be a great defender, who wants to be this great hero, but he's an utter pussy, right? He's got his own dark background that leads to him wanting to step up for others, but when push comes to shove, he's running. Fight or flight, he's flight. So he's going to be going through his own challenges. We're going to be able to see. And then really, those that have been following our Instagram page, you'll see that this is our first page. It's this flashback of Joan growing up and losing her mom. We see these two men taking her mom away. And really right here, can I zoom in? No. Right here, we're going to see the main antagonist for the first time within Bastunia. His name is Myron, and he's the leader of the No Beasts. Now, for some time, we haven't really talked about No Beasts. We've talked about defenders, we've talked about builders, we've talked about explorers, because those are the sexy ones, right? These people have cool spiritual callings. But these No Beasts, as they're called, have really been pushed downward in society, almost to like the level of untouchables we would see in like Indian society of India. They actually live over here away from a lot of these cities. Some of them still live in Metropolia and they're used basically for labor, but a lot of them have been pushed away. And Myron wants to really rally these No Beast people to be able to say, hey, we have a say in this world. Just because some godhead hasn't told us what our gift or what our calling is doesn't mean we don't have one. And he uses this to rally the people behind him in this philosophical great leader shtick, but he's got his own underlying agenda. He wants to really take down all potential order within Bastunia because he is speaking with a higher figure named Ah. So we see Ah being able to manipulate people within Bastunia to do his bidding. And this is where Dungeons and Dragons comes in. I have gotten huge into Dungeons and Dragons in the last couple of years. I'll admit I wasn't one of the people that grew up playing it. I didn't know how to play it growing up. I did think I was too cool for it. I was on the hockey team. So I was like, yeah, I don't think I would like it. But recently when COVID hit, I played with friends overseas and I have grown to love it. It is basically an interactive role-playing game where you have a dungeon master that creates a world for the players and really creates this world and potential journeys that these players can venture into. And then the players are typically a band of 4 to 6 people that go throughout this world in their adventure. And each of these players is able to choose a character of a different race, of a different class, right? So we have elves, we have orcs, we have dragonborns, we have humans in different subclasses, right? We have the bard, the charismatic storyteller. We have the rogue, kind of like the ninja assassin. We have wizards and warlocks with the art of magic, whether bestowed upon them at birth or whether they had to learn it later. And these characters all have their own backstories. And if you play Dungeons and Dragons, it's on you to create that character's backstory and see how it can play and interact with this bigger world that the dungeon master has created. And for those of you that are interested in learning more about Dungeons and Dragons, I highly recommend following Critical Role or Penny Dragons Games on YouTube, on Instagram. You can watch some of these meetings as they go throughout their campaign and the twists and turns of their adventure. But all that to say is that's also what we're looking to do with Bestunia. Matt and I love the ability to teach lessons, like I've told you before, through allegory, through fiction, because I feel that's how lessons can really stick. It's not me having to learn from some wise sage that wrote this nonfiction book that says, hey, listen to me. I think there's resistance there for a lot of us. So when we create fiction worlds, we're able to take ourselves and our ego out of the equation and let our readers just learn from a fictitious character and put themselves in the shoes, not to place their identity in that person, but to really put themselves in the shoes of that character to be able to learn the lessons that that character has to teach the reader. And if that's a passion of yours, we want to hear from you. In the next couple of weeks, we're going to take you behind the scenes on what it takes to create characters. Matt has already started to create these videos. Go and watch them. They're incredible. We've talked to some of our followers who say, hey, this world you're creating is awesome. What if there was a builder that was like this? Or what if there was an explorer and a builder that did this? Matt and I, instead of being those creators that say, whoa, 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 we're creating a story here, we want to hear from you. We want to say, yeah, how can we fit this person in Bestunia, in the Unfound Anamnesis? The beauty of comics is they're 25 pages long. We can have side stories. We can have side characters that can come in from time to time to teach lessons. So I pass this over to you now as our follower, as our viewer. If you've been watching this and you've said, wow, it would be so cool if I could have a character in this world, let us know. Reach out to us, Instagram at Unfound Anamnesis, or email us if you're nervous, unfoundanamnesis@gmail.com. Send us an email. If you don't have a character, but you have some cool lessons that you've learned recently that we can teach through the eyes of Joan or Artie or James, reach out to us and let us know. We want to add that because I find the beauty in creating this is you, the viewer, feeling like you're a part of it. And when we create a book or a chapter and we put it out to the world and you read it and you say, holy shit, that's my lesson. You feel like you're a part of this. You are a part of this. That's the beauty in what I and Matt want to create. You are a part of it. It's not just us. If you're interested in this, reach out to us. That is the Unfound Anamnesis. I appreciate you, our viewers. Until next time, be thinking of your lessons and your characters that you can add to our world. And also make sure you like, subscribe, and tell a friend about us. Take care, and until next time.